Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Today, as part of Nisbat, we bring to you another series, the second episode in the series of veterans who have done exemplarily well in their life after being a soldier. I am Pawanjit Ahluwalia. I'm a paratrooper from the Indian Army, a veteran, and also the moderator of this organization, Nisbat, which stands for National Institute of Security, Safety, Management, and Applied Technology. It is my privilege today to introduce Major Guneet Chaudhary, who is retired from the 66th Armored Regiment of the Indian Army. He joined the Army in the year of 1985 and left in 1993. He's a master's in public administration. He's a he's an MBA, a bachelor's degree of law from the Punjab University, a postgraduate in cyber laws, postgraduate in intellectual property, and a fellow of the Australian Centre of International Commercial Arbitration. He's the managing partner of the international law firm Juris Consults, with registered offices in Chandigarh, New Delhi, Prague, Sydney, Singapore, Dubai, San Francisco, and associate offices in many other parts of the world. He also heads the Anderson and Anderson law firm of the United States in India. After being a lawyer, he's turned a diplomat too. He is the honorary counsel of the Czech Republic for the state of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Ladies and gentlemen, Major Guneet Chaudhary has had an illustrious career. And I begin by asking him the first question. Can you please share some details about your time in the Indian Army and what motivated you to join the Indian Army in the first instance?
Thank you very much, sir, for having me on your show. Greetings of the day to all and everyone. As you asked, first question, how and why I joined Indian Army? That's a very interesting question, sir. In 1984, there was a general trend in Chandigarh Government College or DAV College that the first option was to go for CDS examination. And if you qualify the CDS examination, you join the Army. And if you are not selected in Army, then you prepare for civil services examinations or other things. So my thing was that I had cleared the CDS exam and then tried to join the law college because my intention was to become a lawyer at that very time, but my family pressures and peer pressure forced me to join the Army. So that's why I joined OTA, not IMA.
So I think that's a wonderful sort of a thing. What were your experiences or lessons that you gained from your time in the military? And what are the lessons that you've sort of taken from the military into your civil life?
That's a very interesting question, sir, and a very relevant question, because all these three professions, the people generally think that Army profession is a totally different and aloof profession from the corporate or from the diplomacy or from lawyer's profession. But I must share with you that what Army has inculcated in me as a second lieutenant, same thing, that laid the foundation, in fact. And same thing I am experiencing it, using it in as a lawyer, as well as a consular of the Czech Republic in India. I mean, I'll say more precisely as a diplomat. Now, I'll share some of the basic things which I have learned from Army. My dedication, sir, and discipline. All these professions require a general commitment to the goals and willingness to invest in the efforts and to make sacrifices to achieve them. And discipline is the most important thing which is instilled by the Army. So discipline and dedication, what I have today is because of the service in the armed forces. Then the communication skills. The communication skills which I have today because of the basic communication which I learned in the Army, because in the Army you are communicating with your troops, with your seniors, with your fellow officers, with your senior officers, and even with the civilians at that time. Third is negotiation and problem solving skills, which was taught to us during the armed forces and during my army service. Same thing I'm using it as a lawyer. Same thing I'm using as a diplomat also. And the most important thing is adaptability and resilience. Adaptability to different circumstances, change circumstances, sudden events, sudden happenings, that which I'm using it today. I had this experience during my short tenure in the army. Then another point is organizational and multitasking skills. Like what we have learned in army, you are a adjutant, you are doing sometime quartermaster job, you are doing a squadron commander job, you are doing other organizing a ladies club meet or social event. Such type of multitasking, what we have done in the forge, same thing I'm doing as a diplomat. Sometimes I'm representing the country, sometimes I'm heading the delegation, sometimes I'm visiting the places where I am told to visit as a part of that country. And most important thing is, sir, patience and empathy. Patience and empathy, which has been taught to us in the army, that is there. You have to be a patient listener. You listen to the problem of a Jawan. I have interacted with the lower person whose qualification is just matriculate. With him, we have got experience. That experience, we are using it as a lawyer or as a diplomat. Knowledge of these are the basic things, sir, which I think army has taught me, and I'm using it today.
And Guneet, one of the things that at least I from the army had learned was to be on time. And after jumping into a second career option of the civil life, I realized that being on time is not a virtue in civil life. And that somehow, always keeps bothering me. Has it ever bothered you that when people don't turn up on time and they have an appointment with you for a particular time?
It does happen, sir, in civil, but as a lawyer, I have got an edge over other lawyers, because if the matter is coming up at 11 o'clock, I am there 10 minutes in advance. And if I have to meet someone, I am 10 minutes in advance. So people generally laugh at me sometimes that Guneet meeting is at 4 o'clock and you are here at 10 to 4. So that I think that is giving me an edge over the other lawyers or other officers also.
Absolutely, because sometimes, when you're called out for a social evening and you arrive on time, and in civil life, sometimes even the chairs have not been laid out and you're much ahead of time. That's quite funny at times. But one of the things that at least, I learned as a part of my army career was that, you need to have strong work ethics. And if you commit to something, then you must follow through. What are your opinion on the ethics part of what we've learned in the armed forces?
Sir, integrity and ethical conduct is very important. It is a foundation in the army, but same thing is in the law also. Same thing as a diplomat also. And what I wanted to convey is that you are rightly brought out that integrity and ethical conduct is very, very important, whether you are a diplomat, whether you are a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, if you are ethically right, you are definitely going to win the case. And if you are representing a country as a diplomat, and you have to be very, very cautious about the integrity as well as the ethical conduct, which is generally not there in the civil life.
And how do you kill your ego at times? Sometimes you feel like you get so angered by whatever is happening, but you got to control your ego and you got to sort of be patient, you got to be calm.
So I am sure,
especially in the field of law and being
sir, I'm sure you will remember empathy and patience, which we have learned in army. And it's a capacity of understanding and, the empathizing with the facts, what is happening. Sometimes I generally think, that what is going to happen, let it happen. If I am right, I am going to survive and I am going to win it.
Guneet, you joined the army and then you were in the army for, I think, 8 odd years. What inspired you to leave the army and jump into law?
Yeah, that's also a very interesting question, because when I wanted to leave army, my father took me to district courts in Chandigarh and he said, if you want to become a lawyer and see how many lawyers are here. So he was discouraging me. The whole family was against me that I'm joining the law profession. But when I was in army, sir, at that time, I realized only one thing, that I should be a captain of my own ship. And the main thing which used to trouble me, the majority of my family members were ex-army and army people, and I wanted to after seeing them, I wanted to join a profession where there was no retirement. And I keep on working till the age of 70, 80, or whenever I want to take a retirement, I will take the retirement. That was the main thing which motivated me. And there was not much of a change. In Armored Corps, I used to wear a black dangri, and from black dangri to black suit, that is the only change which has come in my life, nothing much.
That's very interesting. And what are the challenges that you faced, Guneet, from transiting from the armed forces into the legal profession? And we'll talk of what challenges you faced from the legal profession to diplomacy subsequently. But what were your initial challenges of
I will
transitioning from the military into law?
actually it's changing in the middle of profession, sir, that when you are serving army and then you have to take a second profession when you come out, the challenges are too many. First is that I wanted to do law because I had not done law. I wanted to do law, and the law, I wanted to do it as a regular student. So the first thing is to appear for the competitive examinations of the Punjab University, which I held. And you will be surprised when the result was declared, I was sixth in the position, and I was feeling quite, doubtful whether I will compete for the examination, whether I will be selected in the examination or not. So when I went to the registrar's office to find out the result, he thought that I have come to check the result of my some younger brother or friend or a son also. So I said, what's the position of this guy? He said, number 6. So I was doubtful whether it is an ex-serviceman quota, serviceman quota. He said, no, he's a general category person. Now, to study as a regular student with the student, those who are 15 years younger to you in the class was a very much challenging, sir. Very, very challenging. You have to prove better than them. Even the professors of the university, sometimes, for the evening classes, it is okay because all our students are generally those who are having a second going to already in profession, going to either doing the course as a hobby or IAS officers, those who are doing the courses. But I was in the morning classes. So I have to prove better than other students, those who are regular students, those who are 15 years younger to me. And sometimes I remember even the professors used to pass remarks, Major Saab, ye aapka fauj nahi hai, ye lost class hai, yahan pe jara serious hua karo. So after that, though I was quite good in my studies, after second semester, I was topping the classes. So finally, when I completed my law, again, the thing started that I had to compete with the student, those who are 15 years younger to me. I started my practice. My younger brother was a lawyer. He was already doing practice in Chandigarh, but I wanted to be independent on my own. So now it's a very important thing is that once you start, any veteran who starts a profession as a lawyer or any other profession, he has to be very, very patient. You're not going to get anything in one day. Initially, I remember I appeared in district court. I appeared in high courts. It was very, very sometimes embarrassing situation. Sometimes I was not clear about the things, but my seniors, they guided me well. And finally, after 3 months or so, there was a moment when I decided that I must leave this profession. I must do something else. But I had a strong uh, point and strong notion that I must do law and I have to be successful in law. And I wanted to do the different law. I never wanted to be a lawyer of a district court. Though I practiced for 2 years in the district court and high court, but I wanted to take a new subject which was coming up at that time. I'm talking of 1999 or so, when alternate dispute resolution has come. Alternate dispute resolution had just started. So I was the first one to join the ADR, alternate dispute resolution arbitration, especially arbitration in the alternate dispute resolution in the Punjab University. So I started, but still, for another 5 years, I had to struggle a lot. Sometimes I was not earning any amount of money, but later on it started slowly and slowly. But you have to, my advice to every veteran is that you have to be extra patient and you have to have faith in yourself that you will succeed in law or any other profession.
You're so right. Actually, faith is such a, you need to have the ability to have faith in yourself, faith in your capability. You can probably achieve it. And I think the military does a wonderful job in telling us that even when you are tired, you can still go on.
Yes.
And just to relate something, when I left the army and I jumped into the profession that I was, labor laws was something that I had no idea on, and that was a subject that since I was going to be dealing with manpower, I had to have knowledge of labor laws, and I joined the labor law classes. And even then, I had a similar experience where I was sitting down, and I was 15 years, 15 years older than the people who were sitting left and right. But the best was that I topped the labor law classes, and I still did. I feel very proud of that fact. Now, just to sort of get into some kind of a legal this thing, I see that you've done a postgraduate in cyber laws and in intellectual property, and you've also been in the alternate dispute resolution. Now, which kind of law do you practice now?
At present, sir, my law firm is having different divisions. We are having a corporate division. We are looking after the property laws also. We are looking after most of the branches of law, like you can say the matrimonial disputes also is there. In a law firm, we handle number of cases, but I handle especially, look after the corporate law. Corporate law means its specialization, that is alternate dispute resolution, international contracts, joint venture agreements, technology transfer.
Because that's a very vast area. And now, how, one of the things that is so important in life is to give back to the community that you came from. And in our case, we come back from the defense services. How do you return whatever you learned from the armed forces from your present life?
Yes. So the thing is, the day I started the practice, on that very day, I had a desire that I will be providing a pro bono service to my ex-servicemen. At present, my law firm jurisconsultants in Chandigarh or anywhere, I get so many calls. I've got a dedicated lawyer who looks after all this matters concerning from Jawan to a general. I'm looking after the cases of lieutenant generals, the army commanders also. I'm looking after the case of a Jawan also. And sometimes a very interesting thing is that one of a officer known to me, he has court-martialed an officer, and I protect that officer in the high court and get him scot-free from the high court. So that is also sometimes an embarrassing situation is there. But I always tell that we must fight on the basis of merit instead of basis on the sentiments or emotions. So I provide free legal aid to pro bono service to the defense personnel. That is number one. Second is the Army Institute of Law has got number of students, those who are Jawan's son, JCO's son, officer's son. I provide them free internship training. And I must share with you that number of them are doing so well placed, and they are looking after most of our offices, whether it is in India or overseas also. So that is the main thing which I'm doing to the ex-servicemen. And most of the serving officers also, those who are at the senior level, they generally contact me whenever there is any legal problem or legal issue.
I remember a case that you had done where you were protecting uh, a CIA contract officer
Yes.
for asylum into New Zealand. Would you like to talk about this case, because it's very interesting, and I remember it from past years. But would you like to sort of talk about it now?
Yes. So there was a group captain named Harman Wilfred. So he was from America. He was working in the US forces, but he had migrated from there to Australia, to Canada. And from the Canada, he was incarcerated. Then he somehow flew to New Zealand. And this case is very famous. It is on the internet also, Harman Wilfred versus United States of India. So once he had advertised it on the internet that any lawyer who wants to take my case should contact me. So I thought that let me see, it might be a spam call. So, but I sent a mail to him. Yes, I'm ready to take up your matter. He had sent me a minor brief. So I said, I would like to meet you. And he said, these are the details. We'll have that. At that time, there was no video conference and all. So I spoke to him on the telephone, and to me, it looked like that I should protect his case. So he said, number of lawyers have taken up the case, but half of them, generally leave the case in the first hearing or in the second hearing. So the case was that he had, alleged some misappropriation of funds in the CIA in the United States. And for that, he was sent to jail for some time in US. Somehow he fled to Canada, and then from there to New Zealand. So when he was in New Zealand, he was having an American passport, and his visa was to expire. And he was declared as a persona non grata. That means his passport was revoked, and he was to return back to USA. Now, his intention was that if I go back to USA, I'll be put behind bars again. So I took up his matter with the United Nations Human Rights Commission. And I must admit that was the first case which gave me exposure to United Nations agencies. I fought his case in the United Nations Human Rights Commission in Geneva, and I had to appear in front of the rapporteurs, they call it. There were 7 rapporteurs. They heard the case, and it was more like the case like a constitutional bench of India. The case was heard, and finally, when they asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a lawyer." They said, "No, give us your basic qualification. Are you a lawyer?" I said, "I'm an ex-army." So they said, an ex-army officer of India is fighting the case of an officer of the United States. So I got a stay order, and uh, uh, his passport was not revoked, but he was not arrested. And stay was granted by this thing that till the time the matter is decided, he will stay in the New Zealand itself. So that was the first case which I won at the international level.
Guneet, you also represented the government of India in various cases internationally.
Yes.
Uh, just give a little brief on what you've done for the government of India.
Some of the cases that I fought for the India, some of the cases against the government of India. So being a corporate lawyer, I've done both the things. Some of the cases where there was an agreement between the government of India and other Central European countries. So I fought on behalf of the government, and some of the cases are still pending. But in majority of the cases, I fought against the government of India, and I won the arbitration awards of $7.8 million, and another is $6.7 million. So being an arbitrator, I have fought both type of cases against the government, for the government.
That's very interesting. And what motivated you to become a diplomat?
It's very interesting, sir, because I was fighting the cases for majority of the cases from Czech Republic and Slovakia. So I was attending one social in Czech Republic in Prague, and there I met the ambassador of Slovakia. So he said, "Guneet, we are looking for honorary council of Slovak Republic in India, especially for Northern India, because we have got one in Bangalore." So he said, "Give me your details and all." So at that time, it was totally new for me, and I never wanted to show my ignorance. But he said, "Okay, give me your CV, I'll work on it." Meanwhile, because I was fighting the cases of Czech Republic, so Czech ambassador, ex-Czech ambassador called me. Now he's ambassador in Croatia. He called me. He said, "Guneet, you are working for us, so you have to be our honorary council." They wanted to give me Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. I said, "No, I have to be in Chandigarh. I don't want to leave my home place, and I want to be Northern India itself." So finally, sir, in 2018, my resume was taken by both the ambassadors. Now there was a competition between both of them that who is going to make me the ambassador, to make me the honorary council. So finally, the COVID happened, and now I was to be interviewed. The process is quite difficult because ambassador recommends your name, then you have to appear in front of the deputies of the parliament there. 7 people are there. There is a proper selection committee. Then they have to appear in front of the foreign minister of the Czech Republic. So finally, my name was selected. And then once the name was approved in 2019, then COVID happened and nothing. They wanted me to come to Czech Republic. I couldn't go. So the matter was delayed. Finally, in 2021, it came to Ministry of External Affairs of Government of India. It has to be again approved by the MEA. Once it is approved by the MEA, then it goes to the President of India. And the President of India, once finally approved, then the notification is done. So the total process took more than 4 years. And let me tell you, sir, there was a dispute at one stage that he is only ex-major of the army. And no army officer has been appointed so far on this appointment. So they were saying, why not lieutenant generals and generals to be appointed? But let me tell you, they asked me number of times, because I write Major Guneet Chaudhary. So they thought it is Major General of this thing. I said, no, I'm Major only. So finally, after a lot of deliberation, a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings, a lot of interviews and all this thing, so I was selected and my name was approved for all these 5 states in Northern India.
That's a wonderful thing, because it can be very damning when people conceive you that you left the army at a junior rank, but with passage of time, everybody sort of reaches a different stature in life, and
Yes.
that is what people need to recognize.
Yes.
And how do you maintain a work-life balance? Because you are a lawyer also at the same time. You are the counsel for the Czech Republic, and is managing your life easy?
I've got a very good team with me, sir. I've got a secretary to work with me as a secretary to the consulate of Czech Republic. I've got a staff for the consulate of Czech Republic, and my lawyers team is separate. So generally, my role is quite a different one. My role is that to see that any Czech citizen in northern India is, if he's in trouble, I have to support him. And the best thing which I had done, because though I was nominated by the Czech government during the COVID, and it was not finally approved by the government of India, my appointment. So I had to evacuate around 8 Czech citizens, those who were stranded during the COVID, when there was a lockdown. 2 were in Leh, one in Dharamshala, third one was in Varanasi. So I had to make arrangements for them. And let me tell you, sir, it is only because of my army training and all this thing, how to manage it, because otherwise everyone had refused. Even they have refused to the embassy of Czech Republic also in India that if wherever they are, they should stay there. But I made it a point that to evacuate them from there. So at that time we were quite active, but still now we are means my consulate is still working for a lot of trade exchange between India and Czech Republic. My aim is to establish the industries and this thing in northern India, to have collaboration. Sorry, to have collaboration of Indian companies with Czech companies and the Czech companies with the Indian companies in northern India. And so far, it was only in the majority of the Czech companies are concentrated in Bangalore and Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu. But my aim is to bring these companies to this area. So aim is this, and I'm trying my best to get this. Though of course, mixing lawyer and this business is very good, but it is beneficial to my Czech companies and the Czech counterparts, because they get a legal advice also from us before they start any work here in India. That is the advantage to the Czech government and to the Czech embassy.
Oh, that's a very serious advantage, because majority of the companies fail because they don't have a plan or an entry strategy into a different country.
Yes.
And that is something which is very, very important. But tell me something. Uh, I realized that you had the ambassadors who were mentoring you or something. But when you shifted into the legal profession, did you have any good mentors who sort of took you to a point where you felt very confident of yourself?
Actually, sir, what had happened is that I'm very lucky. I got support from everywhere. When I had completed my law, I walked into the senior counsel office. I just told him that I'm an ex-army and I want a support and all this thing. Please guide me, advise me. People were very nice to me. Some of the high court judges, they were very nice to me, and they used to say that, yes, you have served army. If any support you want from us, please let us know. And they encouraged me. That was a very good thing, because and I had no person from the legal background in my family. I'm the first one. Now, of course, there are 6 of them in the legal profession, but at that time I was alone, and I never had an ego that he's a lawyer. And whenever I went to anyone's office, I was mentally prepared that he might say that, don't waste my time and all. But let me tell you my experience, that all the senior most lawyers in Delhi also, I'm quite friendly to them. Whenever I've gone, whenever I met them, they always guided me.
That's excellent, because tell me something. In your diplomatic career, can you specify something very, very good that has happened, or anything that people have been very proud of your achievements as a diplomat for the Czech Republic?
Yes, there are some good trade deals which has happened after I had taken over this thing. There are good trade deals which have happened, like especially the airlines, because Czech is famous for making aircrafts, and number of arms and ammunition. Another thing is why I'm benefited from Czech Republic is because Czech Republic is the main company which is supplying, ammunition, equipment, and weapons to India. All the T-72 and the BMP's equipment come from there. So number of trade deals and have been signed in the last 2 years once I have taken over this. Though the credit goes to the ambassador of Czech Republic in India, but I have worked a lot for those companies in India.
That's very good. And what are there any deals in the offing that you are looking into now? Are there more companies coming into India that you would be
Yes.
representing?
You see, under Make in India, you see the total trend has changed now. People used to supply the equipment and parts to India, but now everything has to be made in India. So here, majority of the companies which are coming from overseas, they have to manufacture every equipment, whatever they want to sell to the Indian Army or Indian Defense or Indian Navy, manufacture it in India. So the best thing is that companies are shifting to India, collaborating with the Indian partners, and then participating in the tenders or in the procurement procedure.
Guneet, what advice would you have for veterans who are considering transitioning to law after they leave the army as a second career option, and then transitioning or into a diplomatic career uh, as a second career option? What are your advice to them?
My advice is, sir, first is what is the, at what age you are shifting. If you are a youngster, if you are from OTA, or you are leaving after 8 or 9 years of service, then you can take a risk. But if you are leaving after your retirement, after serving 20 years or 22 years of army service, then you have to be very, very choosy, because at that time your responsibilities are too much. Your children are growing up, studying in colleges and schools and all. But at that time, if you want to go for law, then you have to be a little bit patient, because law, there is a gradual development. There is a gradual growth. There cannot be, spike growth in law profession. There has to be a gradual growth. Decide where you want to practice, what you want to do, whether you want to be in district court, whether you want to be in a high court, whether you want to be in a tribunal, whether you want to be in AFT. Because I will advise that most of the senior officers, like at the rank of colonel and all those who want to join the law profession, they should go to AFT, Armed Forces Tribunal, because Armed Forces Tribunal, majority of the cases are of army people. Majority is 100% cases are army people. So there they know court of inquiry, they know summary of evidence, they are acquainted with everything, and they can give their better advice, and they can be more successful there, instead of going to the high court or district court, where they will be considered, totally new to the profession. So AFT is the right opportunity for them. AFT is the right place where they can.
No, that's the legal side. And if you want to sort of be a diplomat at some point of time, how does that work?
Diplomat, in fact, what qualities army people have, I will still say that whatever I have seen in my last 2 years, I will still suggest is that, in fact, Indian government should appoint army officers as the diplomats, because they have got all the qualifications. They have got everything. They have got, means I have already mentioned what are the common qualifications between an army officer and diplomat. They should be appointed. But now the thing is, that it depends upon the foreign country. Which country is going to take you as an honorary consul? Because honorary consul is as per the Vienna Convention. And that depends upon the parent country. That country has to decide. Of course, chances are bright. But if you are having a good interaction with any foreign company, you can be appointed there. There's no this thing. Everyone said army officer cannot be appointed. I said, no, why not? If you are not want to appoint me, don't appoint me. But they said, no, we have selected you. Because other honorary consuls are, someone is chairman of 2,000 crores company, someone is owner of a 4,000 crores company. You might have seen in Delhi so many honorary consuls, number plates are there, specific number plates with the car flags on. But I'm not more than 5 crores, but I'm still having the same designation.
Mr. V.P. Pun used to be the Consul General for the Ivory Coast, and he was a great friend of ours.
Yes.
And one of the things that he had to do as a part of his duty was to hold an annual National Day, and that happened to be in the winter months.
Yes.
And so I remember he used to be very fond of doing it, and he was very conscious of the fact that he has to conduct it very well.
We also have to organize a National Day. Every year we have to conduct a National Day party here. That is there. That is there, of course. We'll definitely invite you next time.
Thank you very much, Guneet. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And what is more important for me is to see veterans doing exemplarily well in their second career options.
Yes.
And you are an example for the veterans of our country. And I'd like to congratulate you, and I'd like you to keep it up and keep going and keep doing the pro bono jobs that you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Going to be of great help to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
In fact, I want to say the last line, sir, that I put in all my efforts and then I leave it in the hands of the God. But God, my parents' blessings, my friends, well-wishers, everyone, they give me so much of blessings. Success automatically follows me. I don't do anything exceptional.
Which is very great, and we got to be thankful for the grooming that we did get during our armed forces career and the guidance that our senior officers gave us at that time. Because whatever we are today, it is because of the gurus that we've had in our younger days, which
Yes.
have helped us to be here today.
Yes,
Good.
no doubt about it.
Thank you so much, and
Yes, sir.
look forward to meeting you very soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
I'm